First, I want to welcome our incoming commissioner, Rob Leonard. Welcome. Do you want to just say a little bit about yourself, your involvement with the town?
Okay.
I know you're a business owner, so you can talk about that a little bit too.
Been living in Connecticut or in Woodbridge since '83. Grew up in New York. My father's company had moved into the Middlebury area. So I went to high school here, Southern Connecticut. Always stayed around. Lived in Westville for a while, back in Woodbridge. After college, I started working. I was looking for a real job, but started helping my friend out at New Haven Brewing. Never left the industry. Just been brewing around New England. And New England Brewing used to be in Norwalk. I was the last head brewer there. There was an opportunity to buy the name. I sold all that equipment. Started New England Brewing, almost brand new, on Selden Street about 13 years ago. And it was a struggle. The first half of that was painful, but then things started turning around. Just kept at it, and now we're doing really well. We moved over to Amity Road, a place 4 times as big, and about 2 weeks we'll be expanding again, doubling the output. I've got family, 6 kids, so been pretty busy. And,
yeah, I would say so.
Oldest is in Ithaca College, and the youngest is about 2 years old. But I know the town very well. I know what it takes to start a business, run a business here. And when Ellen asked me, I said that if I could be of help, I'd love that. That'd be great.
Great.
So thank you for welcoming me in.
Okay. Well, we're going to move past item number 2, which is approval of minutes. If Herb does show up, we will vote on it. If not, we'll just have to vote to approve the minutes at our next meeting that we have a quorum. It's Beecher's open school night tonight, so I think we lost a couple of people to that. Kate, you're up.
Okay, so the Scarecrow Festival is moving along quite nicely. We're set for October 3rd. We've had a few meetings since our last meeting.
It's a Saturday. Yes?
Saturday,
okay.
Yes. And what we're trying to do this year is tie it together with other events that are happening in town, so it becomes Woodbridge Day and ultimately Woodbridge Weekend in the years to come. And we've made really good progress with that this year. We had a meeting last week at Town Hall with Betsy Yagla, with Rose from the Willows, with Katie from Massaro Farm, and with Debbie from the JCC, just to kind of update and make sure we're all on the same page and trying to market the event together, etc. So you probably saw the email version of this. This is our poster, which
really
I think
nice.
came out really great.
Yeah. Who did the art?
The JCC. Caitlin, I think her name is, who does their graphic design. And I just think it's adorable. I think it's, it kind of pops and it's fun and playful. So I brought some extras if you want to hang them at your businesses or wherever, by all means. And the idea, as you can see, is to promote all the events that are happening in town that day. So we start with the road race in the morning. The Willows has their antique car show, which is right behind us where the Scarecrow Festival will be. That's 10 to 3. We're 12 to 4. And then Massaro Farms Family Fun Day is happening from 1 to 5. They're also coordinating with the Conservation Committee a hike that day. And I think it's going to originate from Massaro Farm. I think that some of the details on that were still to be worked out. And that's something they're going to build on. And my understanding is the Conservation Committee is going to be working on doing that throughout the year, but that'll be their kickoff. So one more activity to add to that day. So it's coming together nicely.
Actually, that's confirmed that's going to happen?
I'm fairly certain that's going to happen. I can confirm that with Betsy, but that was, as of our meeting last week, that was in the works. And Katie at Massaro Farm was unaware of it, but she said that may be that it's happening. It's not something she would necessarily be involved with. And that hike is going to start from the farm, so it'll kind of tie in with whatever is going on there also. So that's moving along nicely. We're working on Betsy sending out the town-wide email to try to encourage as many businesses as possible to do a business-themed scarecrow and either display it in front of their business or bring it to 245 Amity so we can run it along Bradley Road in Amity. That email is going to go out. The JCC is hosting our business after hours, and it's going to be, I think it's the 24th, which is a Thursday evening from 5 to 7. inviting all business owners in town to come, and it's a Scarecrow Build event in support of this.
What's the date for that?
I believe it's let me just look real quick. I think it's the 24th is a Thursday. That'll be 5 to 7 at the JCC, and Massaro Farm, it's the 24th. Massaro Farm is donating the stands for the scarecrows. I think they had 30 of them to donate. I'm donating the hay, and then we're inviting business owners to come and do some networking. The JCC is providing refreshments, and bring whatever clothing, accessories, etc., to decorate their scarecrow to then display at the event. So it's one more way to kind of get the business owners together, and then in support of this event. And obviously, anyone who can't make it that night, we're encouraging all businesses to be involved and put out a scarecrow. We're still working on the map. If we can get enough businesses to RSVP to their participation in the event, the JCC is going to put together a map for us that we can make available to participants or attendees, so they know who is being, what businesses have scarecrows displayed, and then some sort of voting system. So I think we had one of the recommendations you made last time. We talked about having the mason jars, and using something along those lines. So that's in the works. One of the challenges we're facing is it's a huge festival weekend that weekend. So getting food trucks has been a bit of a challenge.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're all committed elsewhere, and they've been apparently since last year at this time. So the Willows is opening their kitchen, which backs the back door to their kitchen opens up to the backside of our building, and they're going to sell hot dogs and hamburgers and things from there. So we'll have food. We're going to try to get maybe an ice cream truck or something along those lines to come. The Coachman Square across the street, which is having our mini scarecrow display, so the nursery schools are invited to put out miniature scarecrows, and their residents are doing scarecrows, so it's going to be a multi-generational scarecrow patch. They're having refreshments, so they're going to serve cider and cookies or donuts or something along those lines. So we will have refreshments, we just won't have food trucks as we had hoped.
Is it just nursery schools that are being invited?
For the mini scarecrows,
Yeah, okay.
for that.
Okay.
And then the residents at Coachman's will participate as well.
If I could find a food truck, would that be helpful?
It would be very helpful.
Okay.
Yeah. If you find someone who'd like to do it, we'd love to have them.
And that.
So it's Saturday, October 3rd, from 12 to 4.
Where are you thinking about placing a food truck?
At the 245 in the parking lot.
Okay.
Because the Willows will have all the antique cars,
Right.
and they're very particular about having grease or anything near. So, and at the Coachman side, they're going to have refreshments and things. So we thought if we kept it in the middle, if we could find someone to do it. We thought about, and actually I reached out to the fire department. I hadn't heard back about having them do sell hot dogs and hamburgers, some sort of fundraiser. But they apparently do the road race in the morning. So they're committed in the morning to doing that. But what I may do still is reach out, and if any of you have any thoughts, maybe the Girl Scouts or the Boy Scouts or some other town organization that might like to use it as a fundraiser.
Sure.
Bake sale, something. So
Yeah, there's popcorn sales through the Boy Scouts and
Right.
different groups and all that.
Right.
Yep.
So maybe we can see if anyone is interested in doing that, just to have a little more activity. We have crafts that are being offered. Kitalicious is coming back this year. She's a town resident who owns and runs a business. She's going to do a craft project. We have face painting, a couple of other. We have the Performing Arts Center of Connecticut is doing 4 songs from The Wiz.
Okay.
So they're going to perform. We have a dance studio coming. The JCC is doing Zumba class, and I think maybe one other.
And all this will be outside of 245?
Yeah, between 245 and the Willows, either on the grass area or in the parking lot there. So just trying to, spread it out during that 12 to 4 period, keep it as active as possible.
Do you have an invitation to create the scarecrow? We can, I'm thinking, we know, Yaron and I know one Boy Scout shoot, but to try to blast that out to the organizations that might participate?
We can get that. I don't. But and Betsy is sending out the email to the town with that piece in there as well.
Okay.
But I can certainly do that. Yeah.
Yes, and if you can send it to all the commissioners.
Yeah.
I mean, to include, send it. The full email list is the email that I sent with the proposed agenda.
Okay.
I just quickly did it on my iPad, and I didn't add you to a follow-up email.
Okay.
But don't use the last one because it didn't have Rob's email on it.
Okay. All right. I'll do that in the morning.
Is there a spec sheet for the scarecrow, like guidelines or?
No, I mean, everyone kind of did their own thing last year, and we had we just encouraged complete creativity, and the idea is to have it business themed. So, there were some pretty fun things out there, and size is, we had huge, we had tiny. So it's up to you completely. And if you want to display it in front of your place, or if you want to bring it up, so that you can display it there that day and then move it back to your place. We had people do that last year. But there were some pretty fun scarecrows.
No.
And I think the more we have, obviously, the more opportunity for just visual appeal as people are coming down Amity Road.
No, that's great.
So, and then I reached out to Rex and, sent them the information as they had requested. So hopefully we'll see that on their next newsletter. And we're going to be down at the Farmers Market at Edgewood the week prior to make sure we have posters and handouts there. The Farmers Market here next Wednesday in town. See if any of them are interested in even having a presence there.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
So I think that's it for our Scarecrow update. Regarding Restaurant Week, we are moving forward. It's pretty good, actually. We have Birchwoods from Oak Lane participating, Blue Check, Katz's, Saloon, Thai Stories, Wheelers, and Woodbridge Social.
Wow.
So really nice response. Betsy did an awesome job. They're doing $15 lunches, $25 dinners, and obviously Blue Check and Katz's may have something a little bit different. They're going to modify it based on who their market is. It'll be the week prior to the Scarecrow Festival, ending on that Saturday. And, all of the businesses are invited to obviously participate in the Scarecrow Festival as a culmination of Restaurant Week.
So do you anticipate the restaurants having scarecrows out all week then?
They've all been encouraged to, and most people have been, pretty positive in their response to it. And there was some talk about trying to have live music at a few of the venues, so we'll see if we can, if that comes together.
Can you go through the list again? It was Catches, Blue Check, Birchwood.
Birchwood's, Blue Check, Katz's, Saloon, Thai Stories, Wheelers, and Woodbridge Social.
Okay, thank you.
So, and that's great. That's for our first attempt at doing it and really kind of throwing it together at the last minute. I think that's been a nice response. And that's all Betsy's doing. So, yeah, that's it.
Great. That's really exciting. And how can we, the commissioners, help you at this point?
So I think, continuing to just spread the word, really, at this point, is just telling as many people as you can and inviting participation, encouraging them to bring scarecrows. And even if they can't be there that day, the whole idea, as we talked about, is just to drive traffic, get people to Woodbridge, get people to see what businesses are here. And if they can't be there and they want to put a scarecrow out and put their little logo next to it or a sign or whatever it is, we want to try to just get as much exposure as possible to all the businesses and services that are in town.
Great. And will you have, Betsy's going to post it on the Woodbridge Facebook page?
So we actually did a Scarecrow Festival Facebook page, which went up about a week ago.
Okay.
I think I sent the link to all of you. I'll resend it.
Resend it. Actually, you did send it.
Okay, I'll resend. And it is on the town, the EDC page. Also the money we voted on last meeting to use, we're using for the yard signs. So
and do the yard signs look like this? Or?
Yeah, sort of.
Okay.
Because the EDC is paying for it. It's going to say Woodbridge Day first, because what we don't want to do is have it be partial to any one organization or event, and because there are several things happening that day. So it'll say Woodbridge Day and Scarecrow Festival, Saturday, October 3rd. The flip side will say Restaurant Week. So we'll have both things on the signs.
Okay, great.
We were able to use Signorama in orange, or Betsy was, and so we're allowed to have those out for 2 weeks. And so those aren't going to go out yet.
And how many?
I think she was able to get 50,
wow.
I believe. She was still working on it at our last meeting. And that's in color with 2 sides.
And will Public Works put those up?
We will.
We will?
Well, yeah. And it's, like Debbie at the JCC said, they do it pretty regularly for different events that they have. And there's a pretty standard, intersections that you use. And So yeah, that's what that money has gone for. I have another $100 that has been given by one of the sponsors that we're going to use, hopefully for one of the banners. You know, the long,
Banner stands,
right, so that we can put that right on Amity Road.
Oh,
So-
quorum just arrived.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi,
Okay.
how are you?
Okay. I'm really tired.
Just take a seat. It's gonna be- That's great.
So we're good. That $300 actually went a long way. So, and the signs will say Saturday, October 3rd, and we should be able to just block that out and use them year to year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we can reuse them.
Good. And you're going to put one at all the major intersections?
Yes,
Yeah.
and I think that's why we have to go. I think you're going to the selectmen meeting.
Oh, yes.
That was the reason for that.
Okay.
We have to have permission to be on town property for some of those signs.
Oh, really? Okay. So,
So-
if yes, I'm going to go to the selectmen meeting next week.
I think it's
guess?
next week, yeah.
Yeah. So, if you can, just give me a list of talking points,
Okay.
things you want me to cover.
Okay.
I'm happy to do that.
Okay.
Great. So moving back.
Don't be back to my account.
Yeah. Well, we can have. Can we have a motion to approve the August minutes that were so capably taken by Herb? Can we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor? Okay, it is unanimous. Great. I want to go to the upcoming events first, and then we'll switch back to the strategic goals. I have periodically I get invitations. Is anybody else getting the invitation? Oh, they cut something off, actually, of what I sent. Is anybody else getting the invitations to CETUS events? You are. You're not.
Which was that now? I got a couple of things.
It's the Main Street.
Yeah.
Okay. In any event, she cut off right after. We had a little miscommunication today with the agenda. Somehow it got cut off on Lynn's copy. So just bear with me. What?
Worst things that have happened in life.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I see what happened. Went to the back. Okay, so we have two events coming up. I spoke with Tony Genovese about how we should work these things. We have a budget to attend meetings. These meetings, I think, actually may not need. I'm not sure if there's payment needed. I did not look. If we RSVP far enough in advance, we can let Tony know, and they can cut a check out of the town, from the town to the organization, which is probably the preferable way to go. But we definitely have a budget. So if you let me know, you can let me know by email if anybody wants to attend either of these or both of these events. I know Jamie was going to try to go to the Stage to School one, and it sounds really interesting. And what's so interesting is Connecticut Main Street Center is something that we actually want to get involved with, that Woodbridge is not involved with. We are members of CETUS, and it's just so interesting that they're now doing a joint event. So if whoever can get there, I encourage you.
I would like to go to that one.
Okay. If it works with your schedule.
Yeah.
Anybody else, let me know. This is Rob, this is your rival.
Yeah.
Your competition. Have you been there?
No,
The Stony for the UIL Holdings.
Stony Creek.
oh, Stony Creek, yeah.
Have you been out
Yeah,
there?
that's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
I know all those guys very well.
Okay. So UIL Holdings generally has some interesting seminars. So again, I encourage you to attend that. I'm not sure that I'll find out if there's a charge. This one's free, actually. It says it. So you can just RSVP. Let me know if you're going, but you can RSVP directly to them as a member of our commission. Usually, when I've been to those UI holding ones in advance, it's really interesting to see the variety of people who come. There are a lot of public employees that usually go, and then people like us. They had one a couple of years ago on the water, and I remember talking to the gentleman who was running, or the woman who was running Tweed New Haven, and just getting that perspective, being able to talk to the people who are in charge of these things that we consider vital to the growth of our area, it's kind of interesting, and it gives you a whole new perspective on what we're dealing with, and the challenges and the opportunities. So let me know about both of those, and I'll try to continue to include the items, even though some of us are on the mailing list. As I get these invitations, I may just send out an email blast if I remember, or in addition, I'll try to post to the agenda.
Yeah, it's good you kept it in the loop of these little gatherings, so yeah, continue to circulate these invitations.
I'm sorry?
It'd be good if we were kept in the loop.
Yeah.
Of events, so yeah,
Yes.
continue to email out these invitations.
I will.
Yeah.
I will. As I receive them. Jamie could not be here today. He did. Gave me some note. He gave me some. Oh, so this is a question for you. So Jamie's idea, if we can move on, for the outweek breakfast is actually cybersecurity.
Okay.
Any interest?
Absolutely.
Okay. So he was talking about having an IT expert, maybe an attorney, and even someone from the FBI.
Yeah. So there's I'm a member of what's called InfraGard. InfraGard is the private sector association with the FBI.
Okay.
So we can actually reach out directly to the New Haven
Okay.
field office and have an agent who's in charge of
Okay.
cybersecurity, and then we have experts in the company as well, all
Okay.
security certified. So
Okay. So, what we've typically done with these outreach breakfasts is we pick a date sometime in the future, and then just have it. JCC's hosted a couple of ours. If you want to host, businesses have hosted also.
Oh, yeah, we'd love to.
They're usually obviously breakfast, not so much beer, but I would think. So if you can look into that and figure out some dates, that would work.
Yeah.
We try to avoid vacations. We try to avoid. Actually, if we can get into November, it's better because we always end up with snow issues if we end up in the winter.
I'll reach out to the FBI coordinator,
Okay.
and get potentially an expert from FBI.
Okay.
Some also industry experts,
Okay.
around cybersecurity.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be great. And then we'll invite the entire business community, and anybody who wants to attend. I think in town. I think it would be. I think we'll get a big attendance. I think it's a huge topic that most lay people are just not at all familiar with.
The town is also doing a speaker series in the evenings.
Okay.
And we're actually doing I'm doing a cybersecurity one in February.
Okay.
So this will be basically there's a speaker series that Ellen asked to put together.
Oh.
So there's every month there's something going on.
Okay.
So we're doing one in February as well.
Okay.
So.
Great.
What was the topic again for the
Cybersecurity.
cybersecurity?
So and if we could try for November, sometimes those dates get pushed off, but at least we can try. And I guess the next business gathering, I didn't have it down, but is the Scarecrow build.
Yeah, the Scarecrow build.
September 24th. Great. Moving on, Steve Grant, I have to say, I put a phone call in and I did not get a phone call back. So I don't have an update other than what I've been doing is when I'm driving around, there's some money left over from the sidewalk improvement grant, the Steve Grant, the Small Town Something Improvement Act, that there's money left over. It wasn't enough to build another portion of a sidewalk. So we're trying to take some of that money and put identifiable signage for Woodbridge so that you'll know when you're entering Woodbridge. I think there's one, state sign that says "A Town of Woodbridge" in front of your.
It's right by.
It's right by you. But most towns have gone to something that's a little bit more prominent, and so that's our thought.
And where are we on the design of those signs?
That's a good question. I don't think we're qualified to design a sign.
Well, no,
but
anything happening in general?
That's the phone call I'm waiting to hear back from. I apologize because it was not returned. But yes, we need to move forward. And so if you see any signs that you like, though, and take your phone and take a picture and text it to all of us.
I noticed the town of Seymour just recently did this.
A lot of the towns
Yeah.
have.
And it's just, it's such a silly, simple thing, but it makes a big impact.
It does. And
It's consistent throughout the town.
yeah, and we have, there are a couple of signs. There's one actually coming up Fountain Road that is sort of this genre of signs, a wood sign. But I'm not sure, I'm not sure how that sign was created. I'm not sure that I would want to replicate that sign, frankly. I think, we're entering a business district. It needs to, I don't know, say a little bit more. I mean, obviously, we can just say entering town of Woodbridge, but it would be nice to have just something that we were comfortable with. And then put one there on so we place the sign in front of your place, assuming we're allowed to. And then we need one on Litchfield Turnpike, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Desperately. And then depending on, it'd be nice to have one in the other direction, but we're concerned that people know when they're entering Woodbridge. And our purview for this is the business district, and I think the grant I'm pretty sure has to stay within that area. So, moving on.
69 is irrelevant. The merit gets off.
Yeah.
You probably see that with the first people coming from out of town.
No, people should know. They're in Woodbridge. It's very confusing, as you know. When I encourage you to read the Yellow Urban Design Workshop Plan. It's available on the EDC website.
Mm-hmm.
I think we had hired Yale a few years back to come in, and it was actually a very long process. And the Urban Design Workshop looked at the area, our business area, and really pointed out, some of the gaps, and made suggestions for improvement. A lot of those suggestions for improvement are now being incorporated into the Plan of Conservation and Development, but the parts that aren't are more the background, and they talk about signage. And so a lot of the things we're doing like this are really trying to implement what Yale had recommended. So that would be, if you want to bring yourself up to speed, that's probably the best place to look. And also you can look at I think the minutes. I'm sure the minutes are available on the website. And so, just get it adjusted. It's been happening the past few months.
Yeah,
and that's
great.
For you too. Great. So I apologize that we did not have business this evening. We reached out to a number of businesses. Jamie's actually creating a whole schedule. And of businesses. I know I personally reached out to 2 businesses, but with Open School Night, it's hard to compete. So let me just see. Okay, Jamie's going to go to the event. I'm looking at his letter, his note to me. He's going to attend the Main Street Partnership one meeting in Fairfield. And he can also attend the one in Brantford. He created a whole list of businesses. So if there's any business that you think ought to be featured, what I've been doing is just sort of when I walk into a business, I mention, would you like to come to our meeting, we'll ask you questions, because people watch Channel 79 in town. It's a really nice way for businesses to promote themselves. And so I'm always surprised how many people say, "Oh, I saw you on TV." And so by having, someone sit there and talk to us, it's not just them talking to us and the women; they're actually talking to the town, and it's a very nice way for them to promote themselves.
Local businesses, or are you trying to attract these people to come to Woodbridge?
No, we're really focusing on local businesses. Although last month we did have. There's a medical marijuana facility that's trying to open in Woodbridge, and so they came before us because they're trying to get the support of the town. And it was very interesting, I thought.
It was.
But we'll talk. If a business wants to come to Woodbridge and wants to talk to us, we're happy to talk to them. It's just hard for us to identify who wants to move to Woodbridge. And I haven't, it's usually someone brings them to us. But if you know someone, please bring them to us.
Can I segue from that into, have we heard anything with Mr. Nicholas's application and his submission to the town for any approval?
It's going before the Board of Selectmen on next week, I believe. He's appearing, and he actually, Ellen reached out to me too, because the minutes did not reflect our impression of the business, so she wanted to know what we thought.
Ellen.
Yeah, Ellen.
Well, we thought we should recommend it to the town.
Okay,
what
all
we
right,
should
fine.
do, but no, I should recall we were impressed by the
Yeah,
overall
no, we were-
business. Yeah.
We were impressed. So, do you want to someone make a motion to recommend it to the board? That we were favorably impressed.
Oh.
Just a statement saying that they would like. They sent it us because they wanted our impression. So,
All right. What do you want to say?
make a motion encouraging.
Yeah. I move that the EDC encourage the town to favorably act on any application submitted by Total Wellness of Connecticut.
Yeah, I don't know.
Total Wellness of Connecticut.
For whatever.
He was mentioning, though, specifically that it wasn't going to be named that. It's a separate entity.
Okay.
So we need to...
Well.
We're supporting any application by
By the
Tom
town.
Nichols? By
Yeah.
Tom Nichols?
Mhm. Yep.
Okay.
It could be though in the name of an entity. He might be principal of, but who knows?
Right.
What the new entity
Right.
is.
Yeah.
Of which he's a principal.
Submitted, by Tom
Got it.
Nichols, as I said, for what? For approval to. I'm tired. Long day. Approved application of Tom Nicholas to locate in the town of Woodbridge.
A second.
Okay. Let's just have Yaron read
Yep.
it back because it was a little.
Motion to recommend the EDC to encourage the town to approve any application of Tom Nicholas to locate in the town of Woodbridge.
To locate medical marijuana.
Locate medical
marijuana.
A medical marijuana
dispensary.
dispensary.
Yeah.
Medical dispensary in the town of Woodbridge.
And Kate seconded it.
Got it.
All in favor? Okay, passes unanimously.
Got it.
I have nothing to report on the website, but I'm just curious, any thoughts on our website? If our new members have looked at it, it's nice to have a page that we can put everything on. I'm not sure how much traffic is being driven to the website, though.
Has anyone looked at the analytics at all on it?
Not recently.
Okay.
Not recently. But how about, can you put a note that to request what we should request from Betsy Agla? So we can look at the analytics at the next meeting.
Got it.
I'll take a look at that. I'll catch up.
What?
I'll have to catch up and take a look into.
Yeah. I don't expect I don't expect you to know to have been. These are really the important things. One of the things we spent many years on was creating the website. We thought we were going to have money to create our own standalone website. Then when the town decided to upgrade their website, we ended up as sort of freebie a back page on the town website. So we are working with a template that's pretty restrictive, and was very different than what we had anticipated. We thought we'd have like an interactive map and be able to do all these sort of fun things. Frankly, when we started, websites I think were bigger than they are now, because now it's all about pushing through Facebook and
Social
Twitter
media.
and social media to get you to the website, and people don't really. If they don't know where to look, it's hard to find it.
Easily Googleable, if that's.
I believe so. Jamie's the one who knows more about the analytics.
The
but-
analytics will tell that.
Yeah.
We'll be able to see what the search requests are and things like that.
So, yeah, I think that would be helpful.
It would seem being on the town page would be easier to find as opposed to having a standalone.
Absolutely. But
Or
there,
if it's as functional as we need it to be.
it's a little more restrictive than some of the other websites we had looked at around the country, because we were given a template that wasn't, we can adjust some parts of the template easily, and others are, even just to put more information on other parts, it costs money. We have to go back to Houston. So we're working within, like boxes.
Right.
And I think Betsy's doing a really good job. When we started this, Betsy Yagla was not on staff, so the town didn't even have someone to help us post on the website. So it's a work in progress. But we should probably look at that a little more in the analytics. Absolutely will help. I think this is the quickest meeting ever. Any other business?
I want to know your nice little listing here of the strategic planning we did last month. Should we?
Actually, yes, I do want to go over that.
Should we maybe amend this, append this to the minutes? Is that possible?
It's public record because it went out. But yes, maybe you can place it in the.
Just
Yeah.
like the way it lays out the.
Well, why don't we amend it to these minutes?
All right.
Unless we want to, because we already approved the other minutes.
So at the strategic planning,
Right.
data.
But let's just review it. I forgot. So, we discussed the web. So the idea of the analytics, the idea of the strategic planning exercise was to just make sure we're all sort of on the same page and working towards a common goal. And so we went around the room last week and really tried to think about the things that we thought the commission should focus on. What's interesting is in looking at the agenda for this week versus what we pulled out of the strategic planning exercise, I think we're on target for most of them. The only one I think we haven't touched on tonight is the POCD, the Plan of Conservation and Development Coordinated Outreach. And so I need to circle back on that. And the Exit 59 is not within our control. We just monitor that. And Jamie, who's not here, is on that commission, the state commission. Does anybody, now that we have this in front of us, have any suggestion about ways to implement what we've identified as our strategic plan, the items?
Well, specifically under the business news, adding more of that data to the website would be helpful, like the job postings and new businesses, things like that. So,
and you're suggesting to the EDC website?
To the town, and then additional details in the EDC as well.
Okay.
Because if business is coming, what's the job pool in the area, things like that would be very valuable.
Okay. So to add, I'm sorry, I'm not clear.
Add just any of the data around new businesses, like we're talking about the business news. So new business moved to town, and they're looking to hire 3 people or whatever.
Okay.
Stuff like that could be very valuable.
Okay.
And do we need, or should we need to know what's happening in terms of businesses coming in and going out? Businesses are interested in coming in. Like this fellow came last time. It's good he came in, but what drew him to us in the first place? It's almost fortuitous that a new business was looking to come into Woodbridge and they came before us. Is there any way to do something so we can have someone proactively?
I don't know. That came from the town. That came from the first selectman's office.
Yeah. Just to keep up and on tabs of just what's going on in the business community.
Well, maybe Jeremy Rosner, who cannot be here tonight.
Yeah.
He was ill. He's a broker in town, so maybe we ask him to have that role. To as he hears of businesses coming to town, wanting to come into town.
And it was a good presentation from was it Frank Castillo?
Mm-hmm.
He gave a nice overview of what's happening in the real estate area in town, and what might be the market trends in town here. So if not a way to, keep tabs of all that somehow, whether it be Jeremy or someone else. It'd be nice to have some information, some sense as to where things are, and what interest there might be in the town, our businesses.
We all have to just have our ears to the ground also. So if, for future meetings, if you hear of a new business coming to town, let's raise it in a meeting, or just email me if they want to, appear, and we can just put them on the agenda. Or if you think time is of the essence, if it's not a time issue, then we can discuss it before we invite them.
Is there a thing that maybe could be on the website or something? It would have been helpful to me bringing the brewery here. I knew not many people would understand 13, 14 years ago what I was doing to get through zoning. I was as prepared as I could be. But I was wondering if there's like a link, like if I can, let's say I'm bringing a brewery now to Woodbridge, has never been here before, that I can contact these people here and say, hey, what do you think about this? And just get some feedback. And then you guys talk about it like...
Well, that's what I think Herb's talking about.
Yeah.
But the question is how we get you, before you move to Woodbridge, to come before us.
Or move someplace else.
Yeah, or just... And if I knew that there was interest, like...
Yeah.
Or right off the bat, people were like, we don't want that. Or, oh my God, this would be awesome. That would have motivated me to like go further and reach out. And if there was a packet of some kind of, like, this is the steps you need to do, basic timelines, zoning meets these days. Because I actually I got my application in June, they accepted in July, didn't meet in August, talked about it in September, and I was paying money on equipment for months.
Wow.
But if that was if I knew that ahead of time, I would have planned differently.
So maybe that's a goal, that's something we need to figure out how to create. I'm sure it's not. Did you experience? Did other towns have these sort of packets?
No, I lived in New Haven, which was very confusing. That's why Woodbridge just seemed more appealing. It was like smaller, less hectic.
Right.
But I didn't know what the town would think.
Okay.
So I didn't know where to go to.
No, it's a great idea.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, like a
welcome
tour, even a
the welcome wagon.
We're not even welcoming yet. We're kind of coming to.
Yeah.
A list of the demographics and
steps to open your business.
Yeah. It's also kind of thing that if there was a chamber of commerce, maybe they would do it, since we don't have one.
Aren't we in New Havens?
Well, I think we're not.
I don't have active though.
There used to be a Bethany Woodbridge Chamber of Commerce, and it sort of disbanded, and it's not really clear.
It might be within the jurisdiction, but I think...
Does the Rotary Club have anything?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, that's a whole new... We now have a new agenda item. What?
I think it's great.
I think it's a great idea, and we'll work on it. We'll have to figure it out. Let me circle back to Betsy and see if she's found anything with other towns. Or she's even thought about it.
And maybe speak to realtors like Jeremy about what they see would be nice to have in a packet like that. What businesses who are looking to locate here, what information they would like to have or should have.
State of New York has a really good guide for opening because they have a lot of tax benefits for businesses, especially in technology. So they have a really good guide. I'm sure we can get a copy of to give basis. It gives demographics, education, median income, housing prices, all those things in one guide.
And we do have the data.
We have the data. We just haven't put it anywhere.
Yeah.
And understanding the timeline so that you don't get hung up waiting for zoning.
Right.
Understanding that maybe you will be hung up, but making that decision.
And actually, that could be on the web. It could be on the website. It could be pages on the website.
And particularly for a newer industry or some that are less under, like medical marijuana dispenser, may or may not be well received, depending on and understanding what that timeline might look like.
Do we want
Would be
all
helpful.
kinds of businesses, certain kind of businesses, or the ones that we're really going after? Because
We'll take anything.
with restaurants,
Anything
I'll say
with anything that's within our zoning laws
Yeah.
or regs.
is it worth continuing to get more restaurants here? Is that going to be a hotspot for restaurants or more manufacturing? Or and if there was a
I think if you just provide generic demographic information, that would be
Yeah,
helpful.
yeah.
As it's saying.
I do know that Woodbridge Social, when they moved here, looked specifically at the demographics and found, that we're the wealthiest town per capita in the region, we're the most highly educated town in the region, and they looked and having been in the restaurant business, they said, but there's no restaurant like ours, and so they opened up. I'm not sure that, but they were pretty sophisticated. I'm not sure that other people open up their restaurants the same way. But I agree, it would be really helpful to have that. Great. We have something new to work on.
I can come up with it just off the top of my head what I went through. And John,
Well, if you want to write something up, what you would like to see, what would have been helpful to you, then we can work with the town and have them fill in the blanks, and we'll get the New York State
Yep. I
guide.
can get that.
That would be great.
I mean,
And
the
then-
one that's particularly around technology, but I mean, it's still all the data.
It's fine. It's fine. But we can just use it as a template. So you can circle these around. So both of you are newer to the commission, and one thing I didn't mention is the FOIA restrictions, which is the Freedom of Information Act, which, because we are town commissioners, we are subject to that, which means that all of our everything that we do is discoverable. If someone has a question about anything that we have done as a commission, they have the right to know. And what that means in practical reasons, and I think the town's going to run another FOIA training session, and I encourage you to go because it gets a little bit complicated. What it means is everything that we do together has to be in public and has to be noticed. So we cannot actually.
we can't all meet at the brewery.
If we notice that we're meeting at the brewery and we've changed our location, yes, we can, but we have to file an agenda of what the meeting's going to be, and within time, and then the minutes actually are supposed to. I think we have 2 days to file anything with a vote on it. So it's just about giving the public right to know. So when you think about it, we can't. If 3 of us meet, we actually can't even have a discussion. What I like to try to do is really all pertinent discussions should happen in public and at the meeting. So very little. There might be emailing going back and forth a little bit during in between meetings, but we really need to have it here. And then the email. If you CC the town on an email, it's easy for someone to discover it because really we have nothing to hide, and we want to comply. There are some carve-outs that if people from the same party are actually allowed to talk a little bit about town business, but I don't even. It's so complicated. It's easier to say let's have everything be in public. It's not that we're doing anything that we'd hide anything. It's just that this same FOIA is what they're using to get Hillary Clinton's emails. It's a similar type of. It's a state statute as opposed to the federal statute which they're using.
So 4 of us bump into each other at Woodbridge Social. Is it you're saying don't talk business?
It's hard. It's hard. If you're from the same party, you might be able to talk about a little, but something that really is pertinent, that's substantive. Maybe Kate can tell me about what's going on with the Scarecrow Festival, but I can probably say that's great back because anything more of a discussion really should be in public.
This is going to be, so I'm just asking.
No, it's almost counterintuitive, except if you realize what the reason for FOIA is, that the public has a right to know and participate in the decisions of the government officials, because you think of all the closed-door things that we know happened years ago in many different, not just here, statewide and nationally, and so this is the way that the public makes sure their civil servants are doing everything on the up and up. But if you have any, but I'm sure Ellen's going to run another session for the town pretty sure because there's so many new commissioners. In this applies again across the board: the fire commission, the police commission. Everybody's subject to the same rules.
That's an interesting question. What if, two commissioners run into each other somewhere and they could have a casual conversation?
A casual conversation is fine. You just can't really get. You can't be deciding.
And what are you thinking about?
Yeah, I mean,
what do you think about this or that?
Most of the work needs to take place in public.
If I ran into Kate, say, "Oh, I found the food truck for the thing."
Perfect.
Say
Oh no.
that.
No. Absolutely, go for the food truck. It's go for
I don't know where the
food truck.
Very
It's
truck.
actually
But it's
go
a
for the
good
food truck.
Good
The line gets pretty silly.
Food truck.
Maybe put her an email that you got the food truck, and then it's CC the town. I mean, the real way to do it is to make sure it's within the town. CC Lacey and make sure that it's within the town's records to be discoverable. It's a little complicated, but there's work to get done, so you just have to think through it. But the majority of work really needs to happen at the meeting. But the food truck, just find a food. Go for
Get me a food truck.
We're going to ask that question at the next voice session. What do we have to do? But
I get the gist of it. I just wanted if I'll go to that class.
We should all go to the class. I want to go to the class again because even though I went a few years ago, new issues come up like the food truck, and you want to make sure you understand what the limitations are. But so long as you're trying to have all the decisions being made in public, then I think it's fine. Okay. Anybody have any other business? Wonderful. Can I have a motion to adjourn at 7:57?
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
Second.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Wonderful.